to 3 inches of rain in some spots. And this is going to be over very saturated ground from this morning's event. So on your screen, you can easily see here we have tornado warnings that have just popped up in the last 30 minutes. These tornado warnings right along the Mississippi River in West Tennessee. Here's Memphis. So these still have a few hours to go before they reach us. In the far outskirts of our viewing area, Henry County, this is a couple counties over here. So we continue to watch a few of these cells that are capable of producing tornadoes. I'll do a quick tour here. I'm going to take lightning off just because it's easier to see. We were watching this storm earlier and looked like it had a pretty decent rotation on it. Rotation tracker continues to see some rotation within this storm. A little bit of radar contamination going on with this, but Weather Service out of Memphis is confident enough that they need to keep that warning going. So again, this warning is for Dyer County, and that'll be until 6:30. We have a couple other warnings that we're watching to our south of this one cell. Again, this is all in West Tennessee, nothing in Middle Tennessee yet. Severe thunderstorm warnings as well. Rotation detection not picking up too much here. There's Memphis. So one just north of downtown Memphis and one to the south and west of Memphis, and that is one that we'll watch closely for the folks in and around the Memphis area. But this tornado warning is out of Arkansas here and goes until 6:15 for Lee County, Arkansas. So this one approaching the Mississippi River. Bottom line here, we are looking at a fairly active night ahead, I do believe, as we continue to see instability rise across Middle Tennessee. You woke up this morning, it was thundering, it was lightning, it was 40 degrees outside. It was definitely not what you would typically expect out of severe weather. But as the afternoon progressed, a warm front pushed through. You walk outside now, yeah, it feels like severe weather. So that is what we are looking at as we go through the next several hours, I'm afraid, and unfortunately, we are talking about a nighttime event for us here in Middle Tennessee that will extend into the overnight hours. I want to toss it over to Brett Luna, who is in the studio with me here, and Brett will kind of go over the timing for us, what we can expect when. Hey, Brett.
Hey, Katie, I saw you showing that radar too, and most of those warnings right now are along the actual front. That's that main line that's going to be moving in. That one that was around Dyer County, though, that was just ahead of that main line. So we have seen one or two of those storms now develop just ahead of that main line, but that main line is going to be the main threat for us here in the Middle Tennessee, and that's what I've got the timing on right here. So for tonight, this is going to be for our western areas. You can see those shades of purple. That includes areas like Henry County, Benton, Decatur County, Wayne County, Stewart, Montgomery, all of those areas in purple. It should start to move in on those areas about 8 o'clock or so tonight, and then that's going to keep on moving east at 8 to 11 for that time frame right there in that shade of purple, and then it'll move in closer to Interstate 65. That's going to be that area in blue, central portions of Middle Tennessee. That's going to include areas like Nashville, Murfreesboro, Columbia, all those areas, looking at about a 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. time frame. I think that main line should be pretty close, though, to Interstate 65, so moving through Nashville around 11 o'clock tonight or midnight, and then it's finally going to push off a little bit further to the east over on the plateau, that lighter shade of pink. That's going to include areas like Cookeville and Crossville, down there in Tullahoma included in that as well. 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. for the time frame on that, and then eventually that line is going to move out to the east of the plateau, and then on the back side of this whole thing, we're going to have colder air move in with the cold front, and then that could actually lead to a few snow flurries that are going to be flying in the air too on the back side of the system. The main thing, though, that we're going to be talking about, we're having to deal with the flood threat. We've had flash flood warnings pretty much in effect for most all of southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee for most of today so far. I've got a map up there that I can show you here in just a second, or just a little bit. But flash flood warnings have been in effect for most of the day. We're still dealing with that flooding, and like Katie was talking earlier too, we could still see another a few inches as this main line moves in, especially in some of our more northwestern counties. Katie, I don't know if you want to pop on that radar and see if anything else has been issued for West Tennessee. None of this in our area just yet, though. It doesn't look like.
Yes, you know, actually, Brett, not in West Tennessee, but now in Kentucky, just north of Christian County. So this is just outside of our viewing area in Hopkins County. A new tornado warning has just been issued. So I'm afraid we're in for a pretty active night. It's going to be a long night ahead. Tornado warning for Muhlenberg County and Hopkins County, and this is going to go until 6:45. So these little storms that are starting to pop up ahead of the main line, Brett was just talking about the ones in West Tennessee are along the main line. but we are now starting to see more of these cells pop up ahead of the line, and these ones will need to be watched very closely as they are moving into an environment rich for severe development. So this one will be moving over 169 here shortly through Nortonville in Kentucky, again just north of the Fox 17 viewing area. Fortunately for now, other storms around here, I'm watching this one in Trigg County, just now starting to move in. Not seeing too much as far as the rotation detection goes, but there's definitely some broad rotation with all of these storms. So we want to keep that in mind with tonight. We are in a tornado-rich environment, despite some lack of ingredients that are typically needed for tornadoes to develop. We're still looking at a pretty good environment for tornadic activity, along with winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. So not just 60-mile-per-hour winds, which is sort of our base for severe winds, but these could be in excess of 70 miles per hour. So this really is going to be a busy night, I think, for us here. Hopefully things will fall apart, but the way it's looking right now, I don't think that's going to be the case. So best thing you can do right now is make sure that you are being prepared and that you're just aware of what's happening as we go through the evening hours. I'm going to run through future tracks. We get a timing again on these storms here, and you can see future tracks already starting to pick up on some of these cells outside of the main line, which is still in West Tennessee. So we get closer to about 8, 9 o'clock, and notice that it is approaching, the line is approaching the I-60, or I should say the Tennessee River. As we get later in the evening, probably closer to 11 p.m. or midnight. So here's 11 p.m. The thunderstorms will start to move more into the I-65 corridor, Nashville metro area. I would say for this evening, our tornado risk will be greatest between now and midnight along and west of I-65. Not to say that we can't have a couple tornadoes beyond that into the overnight, because I do think it's possible, especially in our southern counties. But the better ingredients for tornadoes for the next several hours will be west of 65. I want everyone, though, to make sure you have those ways to stay alert through the overnight. As we go through early morning, we're talking 1, 2 o'clock. You can see those thunderstorms starting to pass through the Cumberland Plateau. And then we've got a little burst of snow. If we didn't get enough today, we are looking at colder air to come in tonight, and as Brett was mentioning, some light snow showers could be possible. I don't expect any winter impact at this point, just because temperatures are expected to be above freezing, maybe at best a grassy dusting in some spots, but most of us should get by with some flurries and light snow showers coming through early Sunday morning, and then they will clear out as we go into Sunday afternoon. Sunday's looking cold, though. We'll stay in the low 40s most likely for the afternoon. Now that tornado threat again, this is for Saturday night, this evening. This is a 5% in brown, 5% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of a point. So let's say the point is your house. So within 25-mile radius of your house, there's a 5% chance of a tornado in that area. So not necessarily right at your house, but within 25 miles of your house. The yellow that you can see here, that's a 10% chance. So that's going to be, again, where our greatest potential is for tornadic cells. Brett, I see that you popped up the watch graphic. You want to go over what we have in effect now and if we could see more later?
Yeah, hey, Katie. So right now, this right here, this is going to be for Henry County, Benton County. That tornado watch is going to go until 10 o'clock tonight. I was just checking, though, on the Storm Prediction Center's website, they were talking about, they just put out something also in the National Weather Service chat. The folks over at the Nashville National Weather Service office, they're going to be talking to the Storm Prediction Center pretty soon regarding a new tornado watch that might be issued for western portions of Middle Tennessee. They're going to keep us updated on that. Would not be surprised at all, though, because we definitely have some of the ingredients there, and you can already see that, what's happening over into parts of West Tennessee. But for western portions of Middle Tennessee, as it stands right now, only Henry and Benton County are included in that tornado watch that's going to go until 10 o'clock tonight. But do not be surprised that we see several more of our counties get put under that tornado watch, especially those along and west of Interstate 65. So that's going to be where we're keeping our eye out on for sure for the rest of tonight. So that's all the information that I have as far as the tornado watch goes. We are still in that enhanced risk for some of our eastern areas. And, you know, we've been talking about this severe weather threat now for at least least 5 or 6 days how we knew it could kind of form into this, and unfortunately it's kind of taken shape into what we were thinking it might do almost about a week ago or so. So we have been able to have a pretty good forecast on this. The timing has slowed down just a little bit from if y'all were watching the newscast last night, so I still think it's going to come into the Nashville area. Now that main line moving in closer to Interstate 65 by about 11 o'clock tonight or midnight or so, and then finally get on out of our viewing area about 3-4 o'clock once it moves across the plateau.
All right, thanks, Brett. Want to quickly update you too on our rainfall totals. This is just from today. Anywhere between 1.5, 2 inches to 4, almost 5 inches in some spots. Montgomery County has seen quite a bit in and around Clarksville. And I know that the Cumberland River at Port Royal is actually forecasted to be at major flood stage by tomorrow, at least the next 24 hours. We're expecting, on top of what we have here on radar, this is already what's on the ground, another 2 to 3 inches possible with this line coming in. So unfortunately, our flash flood threat is not done yet, and we don't want to ignore that. But as we move into the next couple of hours, we will begin to focus more on this severe threat. I'll put my warnings back on so you can see those. I'm going to move the radar over to our Memphis radar too, so we can see what's going on here. This will become more of a focus for us with the line as it works its way into Middle Tennessee. This here actually has, these are called skits on our radar, and this is actually picking up on rotation. So when you see that orange one, the pink ones are for wind, the orange ones are for tornadoes. So it's picking up on some pretty tight signatures within the cell here, moving through New Bern in Tennessee. So again, this outside our viewing area for now in West Tennessee, but we are going to keep a real close eye on this as we move into the next several hours. I would make sure you have ways to stay alert through the overnight. We're expecting this between now and about 3 a.m. in our eastern counties, coming through about 12 p.m. to midnight here in Nashville. Brett, I see you got one more graphic up. We'll head over to you and then we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, Katie, I heard you talking about Red River near Port Royal, just all that rainfall, and we've been talking about the flood threat as well. So I have this current river gauge pulled up. It's going to be that one that's just to the east of Clarksville and Montgomery County, the eastern portions of Montgomery County. The forecast crest now, 46.8 feet for the Red River near Port Royal. Major flood stage, that's 40 feet. So we could be pushing almost 7 feet above that. Again, forecast crest, 46.8 feet. That should come around Sunday at noon. And then there's a couple of these other little bodies of water too up north of that too. We're going to be looking at South Fork Little River at Hopkinsville Bypass. Forecast crest there, 28.09 feet. Major flooding occurs at 28 feet right there. So definitely if you're up in that area, pay attention to that. And then also the South Fork Little River at Hopkinsville, 21.49 the forecast crest there. And these areas have been under those flash flood warnings, the flood warnings really all morning long and even into the afternoon and early evening hours now.
Okay, so we'll be continuing to watch that as we go into, again, the overnight. But main focus here will be shifting to severe weather shortly. Ingredients are there for severe weather. We're expecting this in the next few hours. Line will probably make its way across the Tennessee River about 8 o'clock or so, maybe a little bit earlier for those in Henry County and up into southern Kentucky. But we'll be watching this as we go through the evening hours tonight. I'll leave you the timing, again, if you're just joining us. This is what we're expecting as far as timing goes throughout the evening between 8 and 11 in purple, 10 to 2 a.m. for Nashville, Murfreesboro, and 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. for those out towards the Cumberland Plateau. So again, we continue to watch and monitor the severe weather threat that is starting to take shape across the Mid-South here. And we've got some active tornado warnings in West Tennessee. We're expecting those at least the line to move in, and tornadic potential will be there. I don't expect it to slow down on a weekend. And the Weather Service is in chat right now with the Storm Prediction Center in expanding the watch that is in effect for Henry and Benton counties for now. So I'll put that on real fast here. So this is what we have. It's in West Tennessee, everyone in yellow in a watch now, but they will be expanding this watch more into Middle Tennessee, at least the western half of our viewing area for tonight. So stay tuned. We'll continue to update you on social media throughout the evening. And of course, when we need to, when it warrants, we will cut into programming. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Please make sure you have those ways to stay safe through the overnight hours, including the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. We will push alerts to you through the overnight hours to give you that information. And Daniel, if you can, take Weather 2 for me because we've got that graphic up that Brett has up there. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So here's our Fox 17 Code Red weather app, and this is a great tool to have on hand. We'll send you alerts through the overnight, especially when we're talking about overnight weather for us. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be here watching things, and be sure to tune in tonight, Fox 17 News at 9. I'm sure weather will be quite active at that point as well.